The White House spokesperson replied to a reporter with a "yeah, your mom" joke. Things in the United States now are unimaginable compared to before. Let's take a look at this today. Let's get right into it. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt released her October 20th text messages with SV Date, a Huffington Post White House correspondent. Reporter Date texted spokesperson Caroline asking if President Trump understood the significance of Budapest after he announced he would hold talks there following a call with Russian President Putin. He also asked if they had considered why Ukraine might oppose this location and questioned who suggested Budapest. But White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt abruptly replied, "Yes, my mom decided," giving a blunt and sarcastic answer to the reporter. The Daily Reporter protested, asking if she thought it was funny. Spokesperson Caroline replied, "What's funny is you consider yourself part of the press." After that, spokesperson Caroline texted the Daily Reporter, calling him a left-wing sensationalist and told him to stop sending false, biased, and nonsense questions by text. This isn't just a meme from community sites. It's from text messages between White House spokesperson Caroline and the Daily Reporter posted online. Unimaginable things from 5 years ago now happen constantly, including harsh personal attacks. There are ongoing voices of criticism within the United States, but the Trump administration doesn't seem to care much. Reporter Date faced harsh personal attacks from the United States Department of Defense spokesperson on the 16th and 20th. Sean Parnell, Department of Defense spokesperson, said, "Yes, my mom bought it for me." Two top government officials then attacked him personally. The Huffington Post is a leading progressive online media outlet in the United States. Since President Trump appeared, this outlet has criticized or mocked him nearly every day. Some columns called Trump a modern-day dictator, and critics argued these were overly emotional attacks beyond the media's critical role. The Huffington Post is often criticized as a news curator rather than a media outlet because it frequently uses reports from other organizations verbatim. Because of this, conservatives distrusted the Huffington Post, and Trump supporters openly called it fake news and were hostile toward it. However, no matter how much criticism a media outlet receives, there was no reason for the president's spokesperson to make such an inappropriate remark. If the reporter's question was bothersome, it could have been addressed logically, but the White House immediately lowered the conversation to a street fight level. This incident is viewed as more than political bias, prompting many in the United States to say, no matter what, this isn't right. In the end, this controversy has become more than just a confrontation between Trump and the media. It has turned into a symbolic incident showing just how far the dignity of public discourse and the level of politics can fall. Recently, the United States government seems to be trying to control the media. Pete Exas, former United States Secretary of War, demanded on October 13th that the War Department press corps pledge to report only on the United States-approved government. He told them to follow reporting guidelines and sign a pledge. Because of this, the War Department press corps strongly protested, saying it was an attempt to block public access to information. Several media outlets rejected reporting controls and pledge demands, returned their press passes, and exited the press room. The press corps called it a dark day for press freedom. Not only progressive, but also conservative media rejected the pledge and left. Fox News, Newsmax, and the Washington Times reportedly declined to sign the pledge. As of October 14th, only One America News, known for its pro-Trump stance, was willing to sign the pledge. In response to the reporter's backlash, former Department of Defense spokesperson Sean Parnell stated in a statement that the guidelines provided to the press are simply a reaffirmation of the same standards already in place at all other military bases in the United States. He emphasized that these are basic and common-sense guidelines aimed at protecting sensitive information, as well as ensuring national security and the safety of everyone working at the Department of Defense. After that, the Department of Defense began to strengthen its control over internal staff in earnest. On October 21, Secretary of Defense Patexas ordered all Department of Defense employees to get approval from superiors before contacting Congress or its staff. This is being interpreted as a measure to fundamentally block internal staff from making any external statements. Secretary Haig says, in an internal memo cited by Reuters, said the Department of Defense depends on a close partnership with Congress to achieve legislative goals. He stressed that communication with Congress must be coordinated and match the department's official messaging. On the surface, it appears to be an administrative document emphasizing consistency in internal communication, but there is ongoing analysis that suggests a clear intention of government control behind it. Sean Parnell, Department of Defense spokesperson, clarified this measure is just a routine review of internal procedures, not meant to limit how or who in Congress gets information. However, Department of Defense employees and media interpret it differently. Insiders say higher-ups are trying to control all communication, and now both officers and civilian employees need approval to report to or share opinions with Congress. They worried that one wrong word could cause disciplinary action or retaliation, stressing this is a serious issue, not just procedural. The Department of War has required reporters to pledge not to report unapproved information, even if unclassified, for the past month. They also revoked press passes from media outlets that didn't comply. Major media outlets like Associated Press Cable News Network, the New York Times, and the Washington Post left the Pentagon press room. In response, American media organizations issued a statement calling it a dark day for press freedom. Now, both reporters and government and military officials are being targeted for control. A United States military expert warned that the Trump administration's attempts to suppress both media and internal staff speech pose a dangerous threat to democracy. He warned that requiring prior approval for Department of War employees to report policy or budget issues to Congress seems like an executive attempt to weaken legislative oversight, even though such reporting is legally protected. Criticism is growing in Washington that the Trump administration is tightening military control and creating a media blockade within the executive branch. After the White House spokesperson's "Your Mom" comment sparked controversy over press freedom, the Department of War's efforts to silence employees have made many think the United States government is starting to block criticism. It seems I will also be delivering news from within the United States. The United States government shutdown has continued for more than 20 days. The divide between Republicans and Democrats is currently large. Democrats insist on passing the Democrat care budget, but Republicans oppose it. Even when they try to pass a temporary stopgap budget bill, there are too many votes against it, so it keeps getting rejected. This is already the 11th time. As a result, some Republicans discuss using the nuclear option to remove the Senate's 60-vote budget bill requirement. This nuclear option temporarily changes Senate rules to let a bill pass with a simple majority. The last vote failed with 54 and 43 against, so persuading one more could pass the stopgap budget with the nuclear option. However, the gap between Democrats and Republicans is so wide that there's no sign of resolving the shutdown. We're seeing increasing damage from the shutdown in many places. According to estimates from the United States Department of the Treasury, the economic damage is about 21 trillion won every week, and it looks like the damage will continue to increase over time. President Trump appears to be pursuing this as his administration faces challenges passing the budget bill in Congress. It appears that federal budget support is being cut off for states with strong Democratic support. The Trump administration has stopped about 40 trillion won in federal funding for over 200 projects in strongly Democratic states. New York is expected to be hit hardest. The long-running, federally supported Hudson River Tunnel construction has stopped. Budget support for transportation, network expansion, and power grid reconstruction projects has also stopped. The problem is that even if the shutdown is lifted, official notices have been sent to local governments stating that it will be difficult to make up for the delays, and efforts are being made to turn the situation nationwide to their own advantage. Above all, it seemed that President Trump would take this opportunity to proceed with the layoffs of government employees that he had wanted for a long time. Russell Vought, the director of the White House Office of Management and Budget, stated that more than 10,000 government employees would be laid off. Around 4,100 employees from 8 federal departments such as Treasury, Health and Human Services, Education, and Commerce have been notified of budget cuts. These series of actions by the Trump administration are being interpreted not simply as a matter of budget disputes or administrative efficiency, but as a trend toward the concentration of power and strengthened control throughout the entire government. Trump's governance is again controversial due to hostility toward the media, staff statement restrictions, and using the shutdown as political leverage. Especially in Washington political circles, there is analysis that these measures are strategic actions intended to preemptively suppress political opposition ahead of next year's midterm elections. Around the White House, many say the current chaos actually benefits Trump. The United States faces not only administrative paralysis, but also a political shutdown, with intense tension throughout politics, the media, and administration. The current situation in the United States is nothing like it used to be. What do you all think about what's happening now? Please share your thoughts in the comments. That's it for this video. Thanks.